At first I always thought power balance in tabletop RPGs was kind of a weird thing. I mean, why are players complaining about their cleric is too good at healing? You guys are on the same team! Act like it! I played cooperative board games before, like Pandemic, Dresden Files, Dead Panic, Dead of Winter, Zombicide, Zombies, Apocalypse, Zombicide, Black Plague. A lot of zombie games, come to think of it. I guess you could say there's an infestation? I'll let myself out now. Anyway, cooperative board games, I've never had power.
Your fee has been approved. Begin the invasion. At last, here I am in Puffin Forest. Hello everybody, welcome to Puffin Forest channel, the place where this guy sits and does animations of tabletop games and RPGs like Dungeons & Dragons and Call of Cthulhu. I am your new host, TheWriter, and this is a channel invasion. Yes, I have invaded this channel from my own place where I do D&D stories, and this is the part where I take over this guy's channel entirely and do a video in his style, while he will go over to my channel and do a stylistic video in my fortes of storytelling. So please enjoy this. Topic of the day today is 10 things that any adventurer should carry around with them at all times. It is a list. Number 1, a two-headed coin. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to cheat when it comes to flipping coins when deciding things. Having a two-headed coin is a simple matter. All you have to do is pay 1 gold piece, get some forfeit currency, flip it, say heads I win, tails you lose, and there you have it. Now, there are other things like the cheater's coin, but that is considered a magic item and costs more money. So get a two-headed coin to help you win arguments. Number 2, some burlap bags. Well, it's all well and good to raid a dragon's hoard or to behead an ogre and bring back its head as proof of the kill, but where are you going to put it? You don't want it jangling around with all your potions and clothes and other breakables, do you? No. You need to have maybe 10 or 12 burlap bags with you so you have something to just throw stuff into if you need to carry something gross or something valuable that you don't have room for, things like that. Number 3, a scroll of nonsense words and pictures. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have just thrown one of these out on the floor in front of a guard before he passes by, and it completely mystifies and distracts him the entire time. Or perhaps an intelligent monster would wonder what something was, and just bend over and pick up a scroll and unroll it, and while they're trying to puzzle out what's on it, and you can't because it's nonsense, you can sneak in for the backstab or sneak by or whatever you've got to do. You know, take that surprise round. Pictures of naked women also work too if you have an artistic party member. Number 4, a sack of copper pieces. Now, it's important if you're going to have this item to write it down on your character sheet or write it down on a folded piece of paper and to have it in front of you during the entire game. Because if your dungeon master says that you've been pickpocketed or robbed or something such where perhaps a thief stole all your money from the coin purse that swings on your hip, you can say, no, I had a sack of copper pieces on my hip and all of my money is actually in my bag, so all they got was like, 2 gold worth of copper pieces instead of stealing, that bag of holding that has a dragon's hoard inside. It's a way to protect your wallet. Number 3, a collapsible ladder, because there's always that idiot in your party who dresses in full plate mail at all at all times and then tries to climb trees or go up ropes or swim through something that's more than chest high, having a collapsible ladder is there not only to protect him, but to protect yourself, because you can just set it up and crawl up something as small as 10 or 15 feet and not have to worry about grappling hooks, ropes, things that take climb checks like vines. Set up your ladder and climb up it like a civilized person. Number 6, a pole. When all else fails, just poke it with a stick, and it's always good to have something to prop open doors, to keep passageways from collapsing if they need especially good propping, to poke things from a long distance. Suppose you see a giant ruby on a pedestal somewhere and you don't trust it to not be trapped, so you just whack it with your pole and it'll fly off the pedestal, and the trap or whatever that was there will go off and you will be out of harm's reach and the treasure will be out of harm's reach. So a metal pole. Don't use a wooden one because they tend to burn, break, or otherwise be destroyed. So try and find a metal pole. Number 7, a knife. Now, yes, you can get a dagger for something like this, a D4 weapon, but a knife has innumerable uses in the D&D world, whether it be to cut plants, to open your mail, to freaking start fires, just any number of things. Having something that is sharp or can fillet fish or anything like that is not a weapon, because you don't want to use your dagger with a flint and tinder. You don't want to use your great sword to chop firewood. That's an ill use of your weapons. You want to use a knife to cut up sticks for kindling. You want to use a knife to carve something out of wood, or to break open a small strongbox. Don't risk your valuable items. Just carry a normal knife around. You'd be surprised how much it will help you just as a tool. Number 8, a doorstop or a door wedge. You would be surprised the number of times that perhaps you want to get away from a group of enemies, or perhaps even slow something in particular down. Well, all you have to do is close the door, drop the door wedge, and then kick it under the door itself, and it will hold for a rather long time. In fact, there are a series of mechanics in several versions of D&D that tell you how door stops and door wedges will increase the armor value and level of a barrier that a door becomes if it has a door wedge under it. So do your homework. It's just a piece of wood or a piece of metal. It doesn't cost anything. And invest to be smart for the future. Number 9, vermin repellent. This is especially good for your healers if you guys are going down into a dark dungeon full of rats and scorpions and spiders. Vermin repellent does exactly what it sounds like. It will push away swarm-type enemies, and if there are, say, dire rats or large scorpions or whatever, it will make them prefer to attack other party members before you. Now, I say this is better for the healer because as long as the healer is not the center of attention, well, all the better. So you wouldn't want your tank to wear this, but this is a good way to steer enemies around the room, especially the small ones that can get into your armor. And number 10, a compass. Now, this sounds like a silly thing that anybody would pick up, but do you remember the last time you actually used a compass in a tabletop game? Remember when you're on the 5th subfloor of the Spider Queen's lair, or whatever it happens to be? That way you don't get lost in the twisted hallways, whether you're a ranger or a druid or something else entirely, just that you don't make a wrong turn or anything like that, because there's always that DM that wants to make sure that you get lost down there if you haven't been drawing the map as you go. So carry a compass. If you're outside, carry a sextant, and that will help you certainly along your way. So those are 10 items that any D&D adventurer should carry with them. A two-headed coin, burlap bags, a scroll of nonsense, a sack of copper pieces, a collapsible ladder, a pole, a knife, a doorstop, vermin repellent, and a compass. Carry those 10 things with you at all times. They don't really cost any money. They're just common sense items that have a ton of potential for usefulness, and your party will thank you for being so clever as to remember to bring along useful things like this. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Puffin Forest, and I hope you will like, comment, and subscribe on this channel, and join me over at TheWriter for D&D stories. So until next time, keep gaming.